Warhouse Live. We back in the building. Episode number 9. This is 9 shows in 9 days. I told you this is non-stop. We're not gonna stop. This isn't something that isn't gonna stop. This will remain the main thing for a very long time. And I just want to be the one to introduce myself to you again. My name is Rok. All right. And this is the House of War, where we get down to the nitty gritty of anything and everything that's going on. And I'm offering my perspective. My friends are offering their perspectives, and we get it in, man. So right now, today is so random because nothing is going on today. At least nothing in pop culture news. But today, um, I figured out something about uh the Christian faith, right? And I figured out all of the denominations of and why the denominations exist. And the reason why I say that is um what I've come to understand is that the world is diverse on purpose. God wanted the world to be a little different everywhere and anywhere. Um and the purpose of that, I believe, is to gain more information and for God to get a fun experience, but also he wanted the free will aspect of the humans in each of these areas throughout the world. He wanted to see how we all could be in totally different situations and still run it back to him. Whether you're in a Southeast tribe in Africa or whether you're in the city of Cleveland, Ohio, whether you're in Thailand, Australia, if you grew up in an igloo in the North Pole, for some way, some reason, we still all have this opportunity to realize, because everybody doesn't get the opportunity to realize, but everyone in the world, no matter where you at, what age, anything, God is relative. And it's amazing. You any background, there will be some sort of return, or there would be some sort of understanding of the concept of God. And I just think that's super cool, especially with the Christian faith, because we all come from all walks of life, but we all still end up finding Jesus at the end of the day. It's kind of trippy, but I like it, man. I'm grateful. I'm appreciative that I'm one of the people that get to understand this. But a lot of people don't actually get the opportunity to get that or understand that. And I feel grateful that I'm chosen. I think I'm chosen because I was a person that grew up and I never focused on it. I never understood it. It never was my intentions to adapt or adapt into a lifestyle, adapt to a lifestyle where God was the center. Like um where Jesus was the center. And man, I'm just cool, man. I feel grateful. I feel happy. But yeah, we're here at episode 9. If you're watching, please and thank you. Please hit the like button, man. The like button get these things moving. This is episode 9. We definitely getting some traction. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate all of the comments from all of the people that's actually locking in and interacting with us. And we're having a ball. But for me, um, I'm dolo right now. I'm dolo tonight. We got some people that's supposed to be hopping in here. We got some people that are supposed to be tapping in. But we'll see. We'll see if they pull up, man, and come hang out with your boy. But from now on, you know what I'm saying? Let's browse the web because I found something interesting today. I found something very, very interesting today. I was getting into it. I was having a conversation with a guy that's a Hebrew Israelite, and we got into the concept of talking about the physical appearance of Jesus Christ, and it's funny because he stuck on it so bad, but it was just like, is it because I always think that Hebrew Israelites always like to focus on the 3D aspects of things, like all the time. That's what they big on. They big on that. They big on hanging on to what it looks like, what it appears to be. But so we're getting into it. I'm getting into it with this guy. And let me turn this off. I'm getting into it with this guy, and we're talking about the physical appearance of Jesus Christ. And when I'm asking him, in the Bible, is there a verse or is there any kind of evidence in the Bible that says that Jesus Christ looks a certain way? Does the Bible describe Jesus's physical appearance? I'm talking about physical attributes, height, weight, skin tone, etc., phenotypes. And bro God said it was. He said it was. Me, I know for a fact. Yeah, they shook. I know for a fact that there's nothing in the actual Bible that actually explains and says what Jesus just looked like. As my guy Vic comes in the room. What up, Vic? Let me get my headphones in. But I'm arguing with this guy. I'm gonna tell Vic. So I'm having a conversation with this fella. He's a Hebrew Israelite, and I'm having a conversation with him. My conversation with him is there is no mention of a physical appearance of Jesus Christ in the Bible. That's what the whole conversation was. He argued that it was. Cool. Now prove it to me, right? And he wanted to prove it to me. And what he did was he pointed me to the book of Revelation. Mind you, this is a Hebrew Israelite, right? We're talking about his faith, my faith, whatever. I don't believe in the whole Israelite doctrine. I don't know. They use the Bible, but they skew the Bible in so many different ways. And it's all due to grievance and revenge because they feel oppressed. All right. So he points me to Revelation, and he points me to the first verse of Revelation. And I'm going to show this, and I want people to see this because people always tripping about what Jesus looked like. I don't care what he looked like. I think he's a Middle Eastern looking dude. But people don't like the fact that he's always depicted as this so-called white man, whatever you want to call it. I don't believe in racial concepts, but the dude pointed it out. He pointed out in the book of Revelation. What up, Vic?
What up?
I'm arguing with the Israelite earlier. He pointed out in the book of Revelation that Jesus' physical appearance is mentioned in the Bible. And he pointed me to Revelation 1:1, where God or John got a vision by God, and God says to, or God points out to, he's giving John a vision of the future, of the end time, so to speak. That's the book of Revelation. And he points it out to me, Revelations 1:1. Then he goes to Revelation 1:14. And in Revelations 1:14, it says that Jesus, even though I don't agree with this, I don't believe Jesus' physical appearance was mentioned in the Bible at all. Now, Vic, you said you went to Catholic school, right? So they told you about, you know, a little bit about this.
In terms of, like, I don't do the semantics. It is what it is.
Me, right?
It's all, at the end of the day, I look at it from a logical point of view. It's all words. It's all another man's interpretation. None of it is definitive. The only thing that's definitive, the only way you can tell things are definitive is by means of signs and symbols and consistencies throughout, forms of, doctrine. That's it, basically. It's not about whether or not what color he was or this, that, and the third. That has, in reality, this is why I said peasant and stuff like that. That's toil. That's not the elite.
It's irrelevant to what the story is about. It don't matter what the dude looked like.
It ain't about the story. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not even about the story. This is why I say it's like it's about how you take religion and what it is. You look at these things in terms of a way to feel good and feel good about your insides and all that. That's what it is. But
Oh, you don't look at the Bible like it's a historical book. You'll look at it like it's just it's a form of stories.
no, you can't. It is a form of stories. It's a collection of many stories. That's why if you look at many different pieces of literature, that most of the Bible is taken from other places. It ain't just. It's basically it's a collection of stories from other forms of literature throughout history. It ain't just
Oh, you don't think it actually happened?
no. That's not. Why would it actually happen?
Oh,
That's not how it
oh,
works. I
okay,
mean,
okay. I'm a person that believes this that the Bible is a historical book. I think it's a book like if you
I
read the
already know that
newspaper.
sarcasm. I really hope that's sarcasm, because, bro, come on, man.
No, the Bible to me is historical book. There's it's a historical book. It's not a story. It's not a fictional story. It's a actual. It's nonfiction. This actually happened. So it's like writing about JFK getting murdered by assassination. Do you believe that JFK was was assassinated?
That's what history tells us. Yeah,
Right. And they give us well, you get video, they tell us this. I look at the Bible like that because it is like that. That's exactly what the Bible is. It tells you a bunch of historical events. It's but it actually happened though.
are you sure it does it? A
I'm
bunch of
I'm I'm
historical.
100% positive, and the Book of Revelation is the one that exposed it to me. But to my point, the guy says that Revelations 1:14 describes Jesus' physical appearance. But what it says is that Jesus has a it said Jesus has a white head and had well his head is white and his hair is white and his feet was uh a fine brass burnt from a furnace. So basically it was describing him being having a white face which people don't like that Jesus could be white, even though this isn't saying what he looks like because this isn't describing him when he was on earth. This is describing him when as John's vision as in heaven, right?
So,
So
so
yeah.
like, what is this? So like, you really believe this as a historical? Are you serious? Like,
Okay, so in the book of Revelation, it says that there's people that are willed influence. They'll run the world, they have all the power, and they'll call themselves Jews, but they won't actually follow God. They'll actually do the total opposite of what God wants people to do. Do you believe that there's a people that call themselves Jews that wield a lot of power in this world right now?
I mean, I ain't gonna answer that in terms of that. I mean, it is what it is. There are
Yes or
people out here
no? Yes or no?
who out here who will power. It is what it is. You know how it goes.
Okay, you talking about the leaders of the people that created the porn industry? That's a lot of power. You
There are
talking about the
people.
people
There are people
that
out here
run
who will
Hollywood?
power. There are
That's a
people
lot
out
of
here who
power.
will power. It is how it go.
And you these people that call themselves the Jews, they don't think they got all the juice.
Hey, there are people out here who will power. I mean, you know how it goes.
Okay, now look, how does the Bible, a Bible that was the book that was written thousands of years ago, how do they call everything that's happening right now? The fact that there's men that call themselves women, the fact that there's natural disasters happening all throughout the world right now, it's looking like the book of Revelations could be true, and it on the
Because
icing
that's
on the cake is the power with these so-called Jews that say that they say that they're, and then it's the icing too. This more icing. In the book of Revelation, it said they'll call themselves the chosen people. Now, true or false? Do the so-called Jews of today call themselves the chosen people?
hey, I'm not even
Yes.
okay. That don't got. That's I mean, and
These prophecies are.
that's not.
It,
I,
is it
like,
coming true or not?
no,
You said no.
no. That's what I'm saying. That's like that's low level toil. That's Come on, bro. That's
So
you
anybody can call that.
in terms of what? Historically, bro, there's something that you're not understanding about information and dissemination of information and how you can control information and how you can control people's mind and how most people's minds are controlled through information, meaning
Okay.
you subscribe to whatever you subscribe to because you've been indoctrinated into it. It ain't because you woke up one day and it just compelled you to believe these things. What you're describing in terms of natural disasters and all that other stuff, bro, you can throw a goddamn. It's like randomization. You can say anything is bad is gonna happen. That's how life works. It is what it is. So I'm like, at the end of the day, none of that is actually real. It's
So the
actual
prophecies ain't hitting. Okay, how about this prophecy?
yeah, what prophecies.
Okay, how about the prophecy of Psalms when they say that the chosen one will be crucified, and he will say at the beginning of his while he's hanging from the cross, it calls it out and says that he will say, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" And 2,000 years later, it actually happens. 2,000 years later, they predict that the Messiah will be crucified. How does that happen? That's not something you can just, well, it was gonna happen eventually. No, hell
So
no.
you saw it happen?
Did I see what happened? The crucifixion?
Yeah.
Of course I did see it. Oh, but you're under the impression that the Bible is made up stories.
I didn't say made up stories.
Oh,
It's
not made up stories, but you under the impression that
a
it didn't happen?
collection of many stories from different literatures. It's not actual uh, visual one to one.
Was
It's
it a
not a,
man named Jesus on earth or Yeshua that was crucified on the cross?
from my accounts. Not from
No?
how you're explaining. No, no, not from how you're explaining it. No.
Okay, not from how the way I'm explaining, the way it's interpreted throughout literature of the popular literature today. The
What
Passion of
literature?
the Christ.
Exactly. These things. These are unless you're not getting at. This is what you're not getting.
You saying these
Well,
fictional
okay.
stories?
So okay. You say literature, right? Right. So when at what point in time did the average person become literate?
In terms of what? Like being able to read?
Being able to read, discern, understand. When did the average person get the ability to do that on a mass scale?
That's a I wouldn't have the answer to that. I could tell you when the rate increased a little bit faster. Like
But
people was pretty much illiterate in the late 1800s, but people were a little smarter now.
1940s, 1940s.
The Industrial Revolution
I looked these
boom
things
was
up.
booming in the late 1800s. This is when people had to start learning how to do things because they was building businesses. Well, this is just happening in the Western worlds. But so you saying most people couldn't read? Are you talking about America or the world?
The world. This is what you do. See, this is what I keep telling about context, logic, and understanding. You don't realize how America has shaped the world. The world don't read on a mass scale because they want to. There is the Industrial Revolution happened, and the powers that be needed individuals to be able to goddamn do math and be able to build things like that.
I agree.
And to work out. So yeah, so they had to then. So school wasn't just allowed for the rich. They had to then allow schooling for
For
everybody
laborers, for
else.
workers. Yeah,
Exactly,
you
because
you had to build.
right, because I give you a prime example. This they try and boogeyman you with the reason why they didn't want slaves to know how to read is because most folk didn't know how to read. So if you as a slave knew how to read, you were fucking smarter than the average white man, and that's what folk aren't getting. And this is why if you understand that in context to the world, and in context to history, nigga, religion wasn't put out. The religion that we got now, nigga, that is put out for the literate masses. The
You don't
stuff
think
from back in
Christianity is
the day,
you don't think Christianity is 1,000 years old plus? You don't think this thing been around for a while? You think this is new?
You really think? Okay, well, you said 1,000 years plus. Do you really think the Christianity in which you practice is the same in which they were doing 1,000 years ago?
100%.
Nope. Nope.
100%.
Nope.
Because it's real simple. It's not complex at all. It's not. What makes you a Christian is your faith in Jesus Christ. Period. Point blank.
That's what it's been. That's what it's been boiled down to. But that is
No,
not.
that's what it
That's what
is.
it's been boiled down to in modern times. 1,000 years ago, that's not what they were doing. Because if that was what they were doing, we wouldn't have so many goddamn problems in the world. It would just be that simple.
Okay, when the guy that was next to Jesus, they both was on the cross.
1,000 years ago,
That,
they were probably on the Crusades. You sound crazy.
you saying the Crusaders wasn't doing this either?
Doing what?
Everybody did the same thing because the story is there. When Jesus was hanging on the cross and they had the murdering thief God next to him, and said, "Can you take me down?" And he said, "I don't need to take you down. You about to die, but guess what? If you have faith in me, you can get
You
to
talking
heaven."
about? See, you talking about an image, right? You talking about an image of Jesus,
Not an
right?
image. I'm just talking about the concept of
No,
how
no,
you
no. You
get to
talking about
heaven.
an image, but you talking about an image. In Catholic Church, they don't even. There is no image of Jesus. He is it's a symbol. He's a lamb. They didn't up until recently start doing the goddamn image. You
I
talk.
I 100% agree. They
So
don't
you
mention
talking about
they don't mention
200%
his
free.
physical appearance,
That's
so
the
nobody ever brought it
dissemination of
up.
information. That is dissemination of
But
information.
that part is
You say
irrelevant. I'm not talking
politics is
about.
your religion, and you'll sit there and tell me that is real.
But that's not the part I'm not talking about his appearance. I'm talking about the what
It's
actually
not, I'm not
happened.
talking about the appearance either. I want you to grasp the understanding of what you're saying. Your his image is whatever they say it to be. How is that something that's going to save your soul?
Because him's image is not what saves you. It's your faith in him that
That's
saves
what
you.
you're not getting. If they can switch flip flop his image, why can they not flip flop? Okay, for you to have faith, they got to jump off a bridge. 1,000 years ago, shit, you got to kill a baby. Make 1,000 years
Hello,
ago,
we're not talking about his image.
that what you don't get. We're not talking about that. That's the dissemination of information. That's how it works. You're not getting it. You're
Hold
just
on,
sitting.
get image off the table. I'm not talking about that. I'm
I'm
talking
not
about
talking
you.
about image. I'm talking about the simple dissemination of information. You're not understanding that if I can flip an image, why can I not flip a ritual?
What image is being flipped?
What do you mean? From my understanding, the image of Jesus, like Caesar Borgia, is somebody that they politically decided that was going to be the image of Jesus. The white Jesus that we see today, that was a political decision.
I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about actual Jesus. I ain't talking about the picture of him. I'm talking about him and what he represents. If you have
What
faith
he
in him, you get
represents,
saved.
what I'm trying to explain to you is what is that? You're talking about what is that? You talking about a man, you talking about bro. This is what I'm like. At the end of the day, from my understanding of it, Jesus is an attribute. You want to be like Jesus. That is the goal. You don't for me, you don't worship him, you don't do that, none of that. You should attain to be like him. That's it.
Right. That's
So
that, that's a good
that's it.
start. But that doesn't get you saved. Your faith in
So
him gets you saved. You have to believe, you have to know that he is God's son.
that's Santa
That's
Claus.
what saves you.
What is
It's
God? You don't need to. What is God?
what is God the creator?
Okay, right. Meaning what? What is God's son? Like you're so tell me the attributes of God.
The attributes of God, the
Mhm.
Almighty, the creator of the heavens and the earth and the universe.
Okay, what's the heavens?
The heavens is the higher frequency, the ninth dimension.
Okay, okay. At that point, right? You just said higher frequency, the ninth dimension. Most Christians, they're not attaining to none of that. They're not listening to that. They're not hearing that. They
They
think,
saying the same thing I'm saying. They just saying it in a different way.
and that's what that don't make that's that. Okay,
We
okay,
can
bet.
both mean it. We can both mean the same thing and say two different things, but have
I
the
get what
same
you're saying in that
definition of it.
aspect. I get what you're saying in that aspect. Okay, that's fine.
It's like the
You,
story of
this is
Anubis.
why I continue to say it's about. That's why I say peasants. That's why I say. That's why I say stuff for the pawns. Exactly.
Right. And
There's levels to it that ain't for everybody. It's the bottom line. meaning that
And you don't believe that there is a higher frequency than this one?
I never, yeah, there is, but in terms of dealing with Christianity and like the book,
Christianity's how you get there, is what I'm saying. And only reason I know this to be true
Mhm.
is because I study universal law and karma prior to finding out who Jesus was. And once I learned the rules of karma, what goes around comes around. What goes up comes down. Must come
Right.
down. I learned those. I learned the concepts of righteousness prior to learning Jesus. Once I learned that Jesus was the perfect man, then I realized, okay, there's someone to model to have perfect righteousness, and he was that example. That's what got me into opening the Bible and then finding out that the Bible wasn't a fictional story. It's a book of historical of historical events, and these historical events is stories of a person of God coming down as a man to tell everybody y'all is doing everything wrong. Y'all doing it wrong. And y'all not gonna get to the ninth dimension if y'all keep doing what y'all doing. So let me come down as a man, call myself Yeshua. And if I call myself Yeshua, let me the man gets labeled as Yeshua. We call him Jesus now. It's a Greek translation from Yeshua. Yeshua is uh Aramaic. He came down as a man, showed us how to do it, and said, "This is how you get to the ninth dimension." That's it. Common sense. It's that simple.
or you came down as a man and or a woman. And in reality, we live in a reality that has simply been bastardized by the powers that be. I
What
mean,
powers? Who has power that says Jesus is our Lord and Savior? The people that say Jesus is our Lord and Savior don't wield power.
we talking
It's the
about
total opposite. The people that denounce Christ, the people that say they hate Christ, the people that say Christ is in hell burning, them the people that have power, because negativity breeds power. Right or wrong? Does negativity gives you power? Doesn't negativity brings power to you on earth?
and I mean obviously, but that's
And
just all in
positivity
circle.
does the other way around. It does. That's why they hated Jesus. Why you think they hung him? He was too righteous. I ain't tripping. But I told you I was studying universal law. I realized what's going on, and I know one thing. I know one thing for sure. Two things for certain. More people hate me today than they ever did. When I was walking around like a Pan African revolutionary, I was getting all types of love, but it was negative. It was negative, and it wasn't bringing me any positivity. But
Bruh,
once I found it, it's fun, kind of mighty funny. I found the Lord, and I'm smiling a little bit more now. But everybody hate me. Ain't
why
that
does
something?
everybody hate you? Like that's in your mind. It is what it is. Why would people hate you? It is
Because
what it
they
is.
hated God before they gonna hate most people hate God because God is uncomfortable. God makes people feel uncomfortable, and God makes you feel like you supposed to be the one held accountable. People don't like that. Most people are pawns.
That ain't got nothing to do, bruh. And this I keep saying. That ain't got nothing to do. Hold yourself accountable and looking yourself and all of that. That ain't got nothing to do with God. That's simple physical morality. That is what you should be feeling in this world. That's what I keep explaining. It's all about dissemination of information. At the end of the
Most
day,
people
yeah,
don't hold themselves accountable,
yeah, most people just aren't morally at this point good. That's just how it goes. A lot of folk are
and
morally
most
bad.
people claim to be victims, just like the blacks. Black people think they victims. They think they have no power over their
It's,
own life. Most
it's
black.
there, but it's not most blacks. It's like you said about dissemination of information. It's about contextually where their minds at. Yeah, because most blacks are victims. It is what it is. This is where the world has fucked a lot of people's minds up. A lot of most blacks are victims, my boy. It is what it is.
Now, they're a victim because of somebody else, or they're a victim because of themselves.
What do you mean themselves? They're a
You make yourself a victim,
victim of their circumstances. It goes how it goes. I mean,
right? And
at the end of the
and
day, there's only but so much you can control. Don't the Bible
What? Yeah,
say?
no, you have full control.
Okay, if that's the case, then all right, then okay, okay.
You do. Are you gonna have to? Are you gonna lose something because of it? Yes,
Why
you
does the
have to
Bible say?
sacrifice.
Why does the Bible say, "Lead us not into temptation"?
Because temptation to grab you.
Then right,
Temptation is easy.
right,
We humans, we our
right,
flesh is attracted
right,
to negativity,
right,
like
right,
beast.
right.
And what the
If I'm
spirit
the powers
does,
that be, if I'm the powers that be, and I understand that will is finite, then why the fuck would I not then control your environment to then make you tempt you all the time? Then always
because
have
if you can get control of because at the end of the day,
you're not
we're not.
understanding how you're not understanding and see you're not
I see
using
what you're saying.
you're not using logic and just not human nature. Just like you said, people are pawns. Human nature is what it is. Folk gonna do what
Are you your vessel or are you your spirit? Are you a spirit
that's
or
how
are you your
that's why
vessel?
this is why you can't say that people hate God. You can't say that people hate you because you have to simply understand where people mentally are at. How, like I just told you, most folk could not read, meaning it is what it is. When you say people hate God, it's not that. It's just folks simply are not smart enough to discern what you just said. Are you the vessel or are you the spirit? Most folk don't understand that concept, nor will they, nor do they have the capacity to understand that concept. This is why you gotta understand folk are where they at. This is why he's on that uh black empowerment, all of that stuff. All that stuff I learned from that stuff years ago. You can't force nobody to ever get onto none of that. They have to come to that. But
They do.
they have to be willing and open enough to come there. But our collective issue as black people is most folk have too much on their plate. Most folk have too many problems. Most folk were brought up so wrong that they never ever going to come to that decision. So you have to.
I love that because I that's why I love my testimony too because I done been through the mud. And if my ass can make it out, everybody can. I ain't said I had the worst life, but I had a really terrible upbringing.
Me too as well. But that's why I'm like when most folk think I was shit, the drippiest nigga. Nah, I just don't. I just don't do all that shit. I just handle my business. Because at the end of the day, nigga, shit. Ain't it, nigga, it is what it is. You chosen to do what it is. You either gonna complain about it or understand what your what the goal is here, nigga. But this you cannot put that on everybody. Most folk are not
Yeah,
gonna understand they
most people not gonna get it, and
and that's how it goes.
unfortunately, most people aren't, and that's why I say the majority of people, and it's not just blacks. This is the majority of people. The majority of people are crazy. The majority of people is not gonna get it. Many are called, few are chosen. You can have the same circumstances as somebody. I got two brothers that think totally different. Even BJ, my twin, totally different.
This how life is. That's how it go. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, hey,
Same circumstances, totally different mindsets. But why is that? Because hey, everybody get a call, but can everybody get chose to understand and discern? Unfortunately for me, I was able to understand.
it's simply about what it's all about. Who you, this is why I don't go into the Christianity and all the Bible and religion because it's science and logic and everything has to do with it all. I mean, it's chemical makeup, all that. It's about what affects you, what affects them. It ain't just about what you call whatever. Because at the end of the day, shoot, they can snap into it tomorrow, and that's the whole thing about it. It's not about uh, writing people off, say they hate this, say they hate that. In the day, people move at their own speed. It go how it go. That's why
I agree.
when it come down to it, at the end of the day, uh,
Okay,
you can't.
no, I'm glad you said that. So are you saying that out of 10 out of 10 people, if only three people at the rate it is right now, if only three people out of 10 is actually getting it, you're telling me that four people out of 10 could actually get there too. It could
Yeah,
get to a point
because
where
at that
60%
point,
of people get it.
it comes down to the three. Because, like I said, we live in a society that ain't that the fact that we got three people out of 10 getting it is good. You know what I'm saying? That's not what the powers that be want for real, for real. But the reality of it is, nigga, it's gonna take it's gonna take way more than three. Nigga, it's gonna take a collective
Are you
overall.
under the impression they can get there? Can they get there? Can they get to 3? I mean, can they get to 4?
Heck yeah, it can get to, bro. It can get to it can get to whatever we want it to be. At the end of the day, it comes down to the proper dissemination of information. It is that's it. They have collectively, it's just collectively they just have a monopoly on information on how and what you view, feel, see, all that. How you understand things. Folk don't understand how that's collectively controlled. And if you don't see that for what it is, then you'll just be spinning your wheels and this, that, and the third. So I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, we can get there, but it's the same way we got to where we at in terms of like mass mind control. It's gonna have to be the same way.
I
But
look, I grew up in the church, right? I ain't grow up in I wasn't going to church every Sunday, but you grow up and people try to force Christianity upon you. I always rejected it. I always said no. And I was baptized when I was like 12, 13, and it was a forced baptism. I wasn't really into the spirit. I just got baptized because I was getting baptized. But people are always trying to force Christianity upon me. I always rejected it my entire life. I didn't start claiming to be a Christian until I was till 2, 3 years ago. This is new to me. So, but prior to, there is no Jesus. I'm studying the 42 laws of Ma'at. I'm studying Anubis. I'm in ancient Egypt. I'm studying those energies. I'm studying that, and I'm looking at that for answers. But this is me rejecting Christ and God. Even the Pray for Cleveland song. I mean, we had a song called Pray for Cleveland. I'm dissing Jesus and God in it. I'm like, I'm totally rejecting it. And was it
in
because I
what
couldn't
context?
discern?
In what context were you?
What I said was there is no him. I was saying there is no God. There is no Jesus. If there was one, why do we have more tragedies than blessings? This is what I'm
Because
spewing.
it's not that because now you looking at it, and this is why I say this is why because you say peons, pawns. You're looking at it like that. That's because life is life. What you mean? Death happens to death happens. It is what it is. All these things are odds. We are all collective consciousness interacting right now, meaning that hey, everything ain't just about to be the way you want it to be. That's just how it goes.
Right.
So
And I was up, but you talking
to
to a
say
young
to
man.
discern that there is no God that from that is foolishness to
Look,
discern.
my words was this. How can there be all of the how can I go through all of this stuff and not commit a sin? What I was saying was how can I go throughout this cold sinless? And another thing I said was there's more tragedies than blessings. God, how dare you perform Sandy Hook? I blame God for Sandy Hook. I said there can't be a God because God would never let something like that happen. These were my words. But this is a person that had the hell frequency eyes. I was living in the low vibration. All I seen was the negativity in the world. And I say today I was 100% wrong. There are more blessings than tragedies. There is not more tragedies than blessings. But problem is but what my eyes seen when I was a young man was I couldn't see the blessings. Blessings didn't exist. All I focused on was the tragedies. This is why I became a big supporter of Colin Kaepernick. This is how I become a marcher. And I think police brutality is like one of black people's top problems when it isn't because I'm focusing on the negativity.
And see, and this is why I think like where this is where like where I've learned over the years is it's just I've mentally not mentally, but I grew up not say differently, but I didn't grow up here for real. I grew up in Houston, then I came here, and when I coming here from Houston, yeah, it gave a total different outlook in terms of just the way people live. And as I gotten older, I've realized, bro, Cleveland is just when you look at the levels of stress we have here. I mean, they say like Cleveland one of the most stressed cities in America. Poverty, one of the poorest cities in America. All that, what that actually breeds, right? You're not actually understanding that like that. What happens is collectively, mentally, Cleveland is just on a different level in terms of just tragedy, in terms of just all bad things. That's just how it goes. All bad statistics, how it goes.
A lot of blessings.
And exactly, it's both. It's you can't as above so below. It just
Yeah.
that's just how it goes. And but you have to come to understand that. And that's what I'm saying. You what you're talking about, how you said you were living in you had the hell frequency and all that. I never actually went through that, I guess, because it's like, nah, I've always understood that, nigga, you get it, you get what you get, nigga. You you get the good with the bad. You do not, everything ain't about to just be happy. Everything ain't about to be good. Meaning, so when you put that contextually, that we in the most stressed city there is, poor city there is, nigga, it's gonna be a lot of goddamn deaths and killing and desolate sights around. That's just how it goes. You can't then discern that to be why God. There is no God. No, there is a God. There is a creator. It just ain't in the context in which these religions give it out to us to be. That's just how it goes. I mean,
I think God a little bit more complicated than people think.
way more, and that's why when people put the that's why I go back into dissemination of information and how you view things. That's why I be talking. I always ask people like, okay, bet when you think of God, what do you when you're about God, when you think of him, what do you think of? And most people think of goddamn white Santa Claus somewhere, big bearded nigga. But that's by design. When you think of heaven, what do you think of?
I
What do
think
you
of
think of?
me personally right now, I think of the ninth. I'm when I see heaven, I see the ninth dimension. I see the higher frequency. I see perfect righteousness. I see goodness. I see
But
grace.
okay, right. But most people would think of clouds and the sky, and and what. So when you think of hell, what do you think of?
I think earth. I think the lower parts of earth. I think when me when I was 19 singing that song.
That's
Then
what.
when I only focus, when all I see is tragedies only, I don't see nothing good. That's hell. You ever hear about when you died and you didn't achieve it right? You come back and you don't get to ascend. You got to come back and do it all over again. This is what I think that's what I think it is.
I
What up,
mean,
Ty? So when I'm thinking of heaven and hell, that's the concepts I have in my head. But when I'm thinking of heaven, I'm thinking of ascending to the ninth dimension. I think when people are too good, I think you go up. I think this world is too good for you. It's time for you to move on.
okay,
Not
okay.
literally, but like
No, no,
figuratively.
no. But I get what you're saying because that's how I look at them deaths where it be like, oh, why? But that's what I look at it as. Like, okay, it was time for them to go. The universe said, all right, you fulfilled your, or you either
But
you
I
did or
also
you
think
didn't.
you will get stopped if you're doing tragic stuff. I think homosexuals have a higher chance of dying because of their behaviors, because of their sin, and the numbers say so.
I mean, I don't. Hey, it is what it is. That's their life. What?
Right? And I'm not and a person wouldn't be crazy to call it out to help them. This is why the Christian is so important. This is why missionaries are so important because they save people. You literally get saved.
That's
So we might
indoctrination.
not like you
Not
might not
saving
like the religious aspect, but
somebody.
it actually helps people.
It's on like somebody's a grown man out here gay. That is what he is, boy. What the fuck they got to do with you? The whole goal
It's
is
not about what it got to do with me. It's all about helping people. I know there's people that only care about themselves. But Christians, you live in a world where you learn that being a missionary is important and showing people that Jesus loves you is an important thing so people can get out of their sin and get out of that hell frequency that I used to live in where all I seen was negativity. So that's all I attracted and everything that I got. I got a wife and 2 kids at the time where I still thought there was more tragedies than blessings. Brother, how can you have a wife and children
that's
and
that's
still only
that's
focus on the negativity of your life?
that's 100% on you. That's your mental discernment. That's where you need to get your shit together. That ain't got nothing to do.
Exactly.
Ain't got nothing to do with
But
God.
you're
None of
talking
that.
about a
Help you
guy
discern.
that thinks that the
Everything to do
what
with
you do
you.
physically is what gets you peace. But that's not true. You cannot garner peace from a physical lifestyle. You cannot say because I get a mansion, I get cars, I got a wife and
You're
kids that it's gonna
right.
bring me freedom. That's not true.
Exactly. That's just how it goes.
But why when Jesus get in the picture, there's freedom. I'm free now.
In terms of what? In terms of following with it, I don't get it with me.
In terms of faith, in terms of hey, I'm gonna be okay regardless. Because I know somebody died.
That sound like loving yourself versus when Jesus get in the picture.
Jesus get in the picture and it affirms that you, yeah, I agree that you will
From
love
what you
yourself a little bit more. Yeah.
like, from what you describing, it's about simply loving yourself. That's it. You talking about because nothing gonna bring you happiness until you know right with yourself, okay with yourself. That ain't got nothing to do with Jesus.
No, it has everything to do. This is why. Because you're talking about you finally have somebody you could model that you know is perfect. If you know this man is perfect, then now you know who you, because a lot of the grievance we have is because we aren't happy with ourselves. So when you hate yourself like I used to, dude, I changed my name. I did. I rejected everything about my life. I rejected everything. I rejected my white ancestors. I'm a quarter white. They don't count. I rejected order.
That's
I
on
don't
you.
like I don't like order. I didn't like order. So
That ain't
police,
got nothing to do with
but look,
religion.
police is a bad thing to me.
That's 100%.
I don't like that I'm black because I don't like that I used to be a slave.
That
That
was on
you
you.
you figure out everything that's wrong, you focus on everything that's wrong, and now you're upset about your life. But then once you find the Lord and this is why Jesus is important, because then you find out who the perfect man is, and then you realize nobody is like him. Then you got somebody to model yourself after, and then you learn the concept of your heart. Your heart is what's the most important thing, and if you can keep your heart as light as a feather, that's where you get peace from. But you only get peace from doing it Jesus' way, which brings me to why I embrace my everything about myself now, bro. You think I was a patriot 2 years ago? I wasn't. I had no patriotism. I wasn't a person that loved my country. I love
That's
my
bro.
country
I
now.
swear to God, all this stuff is on you, bro. Why would I not love my country, bro? That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, from my upbringing, I've never not loved my country. I understand where I'm from, where I've been, where my family's been, all that. It's not about this. I keep trying to explain to you. It's about the dissemination of information, how you contextually view things, what is put in through you through your family. Because if your family ain't taking you down south area of the summer to see your other family, you ain't been to family reunions, then there's just certain things that you're not gonna get and understand in terms of just why you ain't gotta go through hating yourself and not loving yourself to and then finding Jesus and all this other stuff to then say I now love myself and now you don't know. At the end of the day, it comes down to your family and your upbringing, how you are reared in this world to interact in the world. So if your peoples don't give a fuck about anything at the end of the day, then nigga, they're not gonna put shit into you for you to then give a fuck about anything. So, but if they do to an extent, it is what it is. You are now a product of your environment. It ain't just one day you snap into it. It's about simply understanding that nah,
Oh no, no, no! I'm not saying I snapped. I'm not saying I snapped into it. I said it helped me open up the portal to understand, to embrace myself. You talking to a person? Look, when you grow up and you, like I said, my dad is a so-called Moor. I grew up when I was 11, 12 years old. We joined the Moorish Science Temple of America. All of these things mean nothing, but they're all a rejection of what's already present. Is that the American Christian lifestyle is what our ancestors did, and is what my great grandfather did. My grandfather did. My dad rejected. You got this revolutionary culture that told us to push back on our traditional lifestyles, and it had us rejecting everything and had us hating everything about ourselves. So I grew up in a lifestyle where I rejected everything about everything that my family stood for. Family reunions, they'd jump in the prayer circle. I'm not jumping in the prayer circle. I don't believe in that. I'm not doing that. But everybody looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, no, I'm not joining no prayer circle. I'm not. I don't do that. Right. So you get in that, and I'm living that lifestyle where I'm rejecting everything about myself traditionally because of what was taught to me. So if I take into consideration that if you keep pushing down my throat that black people ain't shit, you keep pushing down my throat that we ain't nothing but slaves, you keep pushing down my throat that we get killed, and then I look and I'm in my neighborhood and all I see is the same negative stuff. You're not gonna be happy about your situation. You're gonna hate everything about your situation. You're
That's
not
just how
gonna
it goes.
embrace your situation. So you're right about the dissemination of information. But you talking about a dude that grew up in the inner city. That's of course you're not gonna embrace it. What good is there around if nobody's reminding you of what's good? Come
That's where it
on, I wasn't supposed to like it. You a young kid, a young rebellious kid that was taught to rebel. My dad is already a rebellious
and see, that's
dude.
what I'm trying to explain. You're not taught to, and exactly. And that's why I continue to say it's about your. This is why when they say about the no fathers in the home type shit, people try and say, oh man, that's racist and all that. Nah, this it play a big role. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to discipline and basically what is being pushed in the home. So
Yeah,
when there is no, the reason why at some point, yeah, father in the home is good, but then it comes down to what are they actually influencing? That's when it comes down to at that point, okay, bet if they not being a father of virtue or not being an example, then nigga, you're going to simply repeat those shits until at some point you as a person go through trials and tribulations and realize, okay, that's not what I should be doing. That's just how it goes. That's really how it goes. You doing the repeat the goddamn past and the shits of your fathers and all that until you understand what it is. That's just how it goes. It's not rocket science. If you got
it's
a good
culture.
exactly, if you got a good upbringing, nigga, then shit, you're probably going to be all right in the world. It is what it is. It ain't got
So
nothing to
when
do
I
with
so you got on me for saying most niggas is crazy. I'm not tripping.
no
Most
most
niggas is crazy.
because most niggas. That's why I said also about it ain't just about having no goddamn father in the home. Because if nigga, if your father crazy, shit, it don't do no good that nigga being there.
Oh,
It won't.
100%. A present father don't solve problems because you can have a present father that's a whole nut job, and he'll instill and teach you the wrong things, and then you'll continue to do the wrong things. Oh, that's 100% true, and it'll lead you down the wrong paths. You got the wrong dad. A dad is powerful. A positive dad is good, but a negative dad could turn you to a demon. That's 100% true. A present father ain't the answer. A good man as a father is an answer. A man that stand on principle, good principles, is a great thing for a young man. When I'm saying this, positivity breeds a good life. And when you have negativity around you, surrounding you your whole childhood, you're supposed to end up reflecting that. But I some about that, but that's something about that boy Jesus, man. It's different. It's different because at the end of the day, I was practicing righteousness. I was, but without Jesus, I was trying to practice righteousness. But it was something else missing. There was a empty hole. My house was still not a home. I bought my first home at 26. I thought I had it all. I thought I had it all. And my house was still wasn't, it just wasn't a home. It wasn't until I found Christ that everything aligned up and now I can live in harmony. How does this happen? Me, out of all people, I'm the one that I rejected everything about America more than anybody I know. Anybody. To the point I changed my name when I was 23. I took my name off. I started studying other languages. I started just going into my blackness. I want to be an African only. what happens? You find the Lord and then you embrace everything. Come on, man. You can't make it up. I got an American flag right here, man.
So you
This
find
don't happen without the this doesn't happen without the Lord, man. Not to a
that's
person
that's
that's seen as
that's
much
you.
nigga.
That's
But
you
it's
because
it's not
you're
common. I don't
it's not
nobody, my
common.
brothers,
What?
it's not common for this to happen. I grew up in the inner city. There is nobody like me. Nobody. It's not common. I ain't saying nobody, 0%, but this is not a common thing. It's not. I got people I grew up with. Literally, I got two brothers. These niggas is nothing like me. Nothing. They don't think like me at all. I clash with any and everybody because I'm a person that choose to embrace myself. How does this happen? I can stand on 10. You know why? Because I'm not alone. You feel me? And I always been a fighter anyway. So when I'm walking around with my MAGA hat and niggas mad, guess what? I ain't tripping. You
What
know
was you
why?
wearing a MAGA hat for?
You said, why was I wearing a MAGA hat? Oh, I was campaigning because I
So,
learned about the tradition. I learned about the traditional family. We need to
so
bring
that
the
nigga
traditional
helps you
family back.
vote and stuff.
That's my first time voting. Last election was my first time voting.
Boy, you only got damn. This shit is crazy, boy. It's funny I like B360 in this shit, cause nigga, what
First
nigga,
time. 30.
my nigga said he got down. This nigga voting. He's a Christian. Oh damn, you get right along with it. You don't even you
That's what
just
I'm telling you. When you embrace who you are and not reject who you are, it's a lot more freedom. And then come on, man.
what they gotta
When I
do with
real
voting. What they gotta do with voting in the Bible and all that other stuff.
oh because first of all, the Democrats is demons too. Now Trump working with demons now, man. Trump ain't MAGA no more. We ain't even messing with Buddy. Trump ain't
Listen,
MAGA.
man,
I
you
don't
sound
rock
like
with
a
dog.
fool. You sound like a fool. Trump ain't. These are this stuff is not what I thought. Huh?
When I say Trump ain't MAGA, MAGA is American first. I'm an American, so I'm for my country first, just like you. You MAGA too. You will prioritize your own home.
Nope, I'm not. I don't
You want
subscribe.
you prioritize your own home first, right?
That don't make me MAGA. That just makes
That
me a
does
person. That just makes me
that
a person.
does.
Makes a person that is interested in self-preservation.
Thank
That
you.
has
You're a
nothing to do with
MAGA. You right here with me. Nigga.
nope. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, bro, you really signing up for this shit, MAGA. My boy say he MAGA. He Christian. Get up out of here.
But this is all a part of it. But no, MAGA comes from me respecting the traditional homes that we had back in the day because I
You
know the
can do all
statistics.
that without claiming any political party. Because if you understand, it's all
MAGA
true.
not a political party.
You said you voted, so it don't matter. You
That
can do
don't
all
mean
that.
that don't mean I belong to a political party. I voted for a candidate that I wanted to get in office because the other candidate was pushing babies, little children getting their genitals whacked.
Ultimately, that's the whole thing. You ultimately belong to the Republican Party if you voted for Trump. So
I definitely align more with the Republican Party,
it don't
100%.
matter. It don't matter. They all play
But
their roles. So
but I'm not. I'm definitely not for sin. What the other side does, what the Democrats do, they push policies that have sin, that promote sin. That's not something I'm ever going to align with. Now I get it. I didn't
okay,
have to vote, but nah, I had to be assured, and I wanted to represent and be a contributor to society. I don't want to just be a bystander like how I was this whole entire time. I want to
yeah,
be a contributor.
because you really think because you voted you're contributing to society.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I was the one that said, yeah, him, get him. Now I might think twice about what I said because I'm starting to regret that I put my vote in because Buddy working with the devil.
What are you saying? They are working with the devil. That's how they from your context. They are working with the devil. Because some are goddamn
Nah, I
manipulating.
just got hip to the real devil. That's what I'm talking about. And I ain't know. And I didn't know it was real devils out here. I knew it was some negative people out here, and I'm thinking the Democrats is the devil. But I've recently, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a person that's gonna stand on because I believed it 2 months ago. I'm gonna sit up here and lie to you and be like, yeah, and I'm still standing on that. I'm not stupid. I change what I'm saying because
But that's
I
why I don't
understand
do
and get
nothing.
new
That's why I
information.
don't jump out the bridge on nothing. Exactly. You change what you in 6 months you'll be saying something else. That's why it's best to just say, all right, bet. I'm taking it is for what it is. I'm not siding with no Christianity. I'm not siding with no Trump.
Oh no, I'm Christian all day.
I mean, it is what it is. That's how it goes. It's all about information. And
Look,
what more do you know? So hey, it
you
is what
got
it is.
look the reason why MAGA is important because MAGA pushes the agenda of what we used to have. I have respect for what our families used to look like back in the day, before before the 60s and 70s when MLK destroyed black people. I got a lot
Okay.
of respect for those
Right.
people.
Boy,
Oh, you
you be
don't
saying
think the civil
you really want to get that boy say, I want to go viral. I just want to be the goddamn most salacious. Who
you
cares?
think I'm just talking? You think I'm just say it? I got evidence and
Yeah,
proof
niggas say
that
MLK destroyed black people.
the civil rights movement destroyed black people 100%.
It didn't
A
destroy
hundred
black.
percent. I'm not saying it was just MLK. It was
No,
Lyndon
it wasn't
Baines Johnson
destroy black people.
who
It didn't destroy black people. It was
he
simply
destroyed the communities. The civil rights movement destroyed the black communities for sure. A
it's called
hundred
chess.
percent.
It's called chess, not checkers. It is what it is, boy. They said niggas want rights, niggas fought for rights, and they hit us with chess. It
And
is
guess
what
what? But you don't know the rights they got. Black people never. Everybody is. What did they get? Nobody knows what they got.
nobody ever get done. That's when the minority shit came into play. No, it never on paper. No, we never got
What
rights
did
on paper.
King do?
What you mean? What did King do?
He sent a spiritual wave of people to reject the
He
traditional
tried to
family. And
play. He tried to play the political game. He tried to go about it how because you. And this is why I keep trying to explain to you about context, dissemination of information, understanding, putting yourself in the shoes of King, understanding what he was, what
he
was
was
being.
a goofball.
That's what you think.
No, that's what I know. What man says we's gonna get our freedom from assimilating what the whites do. My nigga, that ain't success. You don't get success
Who do you
by
think? Who do you think?
copying
Who do
niggas.
you think? Who do you think? Who? What type of niggas? Think about it. What type of niggas at the time? What type of niggas do you think would say stuff like that?
I was about to curse.
Rich,
Goofies, liberals, people
fluent,
like me, people like that
rich,
was like me, people that
rich,
hated their life.
affluent, affluent, well
No,
connected.
no, King hated home. King, I ain't even gonna say King did. Black people hated, not majority. No, not even the majority at first. A small amount of black people hated their situation. And then it started spreading. And then they start telling black people that you don't have enough and that the white people ice is colder and you need to get what they get in order to get freedom. And niggas fell for it. That's 100% true. Because as we owned our own stuff, as we owned bus lines, as we owned banks, as we owned airports, as we owned all of this stuff, you gave it all away in the name of civil rights because I'm only concerned about the way those people treat us. The way they treat us
Not
is wrong, so
us.
we're
And
gonna fight for them to treat us better.
that's the thing about see, because I used to think about it like that in terms of, oh man, why we trying to eat at their dinner tables and why we trying to eat at their counters and all of that? Cause nigga, it's the only one in town, and you're trying to go to school here. So why should you not be able to have the luxury as a human being to eat here? That's why. That was the point of civil
Now
rights.
name now
It
who was
wasn't
doing
just
it on the other side?
what
Who when we had our black restaurants, imagine a white person coming
right.
in there like, why y'all can't serve me? Why can't this? Why can't that? Why y'all not treating me right? Dude, it's not about how somebody treating you. Why are you so concerned about how the next man is treating you? Vic, do you care about how a man is treating you?
And then what I continue to say is chess, not checkers. The power that be simply used our desire to be simply treated as human beings to then simply even further uproot us in our in our
You're in America.
in
You're
our
not treated less than anybody. There's no policies or laws that says black people have disadvantages with anything. If we've been holding political offices since the 1700s, black people always had the right to vote. They tried to pretend and fake to you that black people didn't have the right to vote until 1964. But nobody knows the 1964 Civil Rights Act did not promise anybody a right to vote. All it did was two things. It took away the poll taxes because black people was somehow too broke to pay a $6 tax or a $6 voting fee. Wrong. And then they took away the literacy test. This is the Civil Rights Act. Take away the literacy test because black people too stupid and they don't know how to read. Stop it. Black people always been excellent. And what it did was it told the blacks that, hey, now that we got rid of the literacy test, now y'all smarter. Now it's good. Now y'all can go vote. Because you niggas is too stupid to vote before we did this literacy test, which is bogus. We already own oil companies and everything. How the hell do we need a literacy test taken off just so we can vote? We weren't illiterate. Black people could read and understand knowledge in the 60s. But that's what the Civil Rights Act was. Literacy test and taking away the voting tax. You had to pay a $4, $5, $6, $7 fee to vote, and you had to pass a literacy test. Now, what does this do? This dumbs down the voter. Now the voter can be a complete dumbass and vote.
You're talking about, you know, I continue to say, bro, you're sitting there talking about politics. You're looking at it goes back into religion and what we were talking about from before. You're sitting here talking about the political aspect of things versus, nigga, you being on a goddamn single road and you're about to run out of gas, and now this is the only gas station in town right here, and they talk about they're not serving niggas. That is what the fuck civil rights was about. It's not about that political shit.
What policies did they do to change it?
And that's what the chess comes into play. At that point, wasn't no policies, fool. It was about overall. It was about overall goddamn basically sentiment toward black people had changed
because they ain't treating us right. Come on, bruh. Stop it. Niggas had they own. You ever heard of Black Wall Street? You think niggas in Tulsa, Oklahoma was worried about how a nigga treated them? Nigga, I got my own. You want to talk about having? A nigga that got his own ain't worried about how a nigga treating them. It's not about how somebody else treating you. This is people that don't have God in their life. That people that think like that. You don't care about what a nigga think. But those people was so in their feelings, they was liberal and they was able to infiltrate and spike people with, hey, white people ain't treating us right and they ice is colder and we need what they's got in order for us to have freedom.
At the end of the day, it's chess, not checkers.
What did we get? Broken homes.
It's chess, not checkers.
Welfare programs. Did you know that Lyndon B. Johnson opened up those welfare programs alongside Martin Luther King that pushed people?
Nigga, the overall sentiment at the time is we can't call the niggas niggers. That is what it became. We have that's
the problem.
We have to be more sly about it. Meaning what? Yeah, they want civil rights. Yeah, well, we'll play chess with them. We'll give them whatever they want on the slide.
We already had it.
Ultimately, will benefit from giving them what they want. That's how it goes.
What didn't we? Okay, look, that's cool. Now, what do we have now versus then? We had more then than we do now.
That's what happened?
I'm telling you, it was a million black farmers in the 60s. Guess how many there is today? There's less than 20,000.
Nigga, okay, there's less than how many farmers is there now? And
they're still relevant to this day.
Nobody ever said they weren't relevant. Nobody ever said they weren't relevant. It just we live in a different time now. That number that you're trying to make sound crazy, it ain't like that because of race. More to the idea that nigga Tyson goddamn chicken supplies all the chicken to a shitload of places. Nigga. All these niggas, McDonald's, all kind of crazy shit. That's how business and enterprise works.
You can make that argument, right? What happened to the homes though? Because and you probably don't see the value in this, but when the majority of our homes and teenage pregnancy wasn't common, it was at a low rate. The marriage
Okay.
rate was way higher. Do you
That's
see?
across the board. That's across the board. That ain't
No,
just
no,
in the
no,
black community.
no, no. Black
That's across the
America
board.
had a higher marriage rate.
That's across the board.
Why did the
It's
marriage
across the
rate
board.
decrease?
It's across the board because the West is the West. What you mean? What you mean?
No, because these niggas fell for it. They fell for the white people ISIS coder, and they fell for the let's use government programs to better our lives and government. And if you ever study history, you look at anywhere in history throughout the world, when there's more government, there's worse people. The people are under control. The
So
people
boy got them
cannot pimp
alt-right
themselves.
talking points. You got them alt-right talking points.
All right, talking points. You say, okay, do you see the value in a nuclear family?
Yeah, but that's the West. The evaluation of the nuclear family is across the board in the West. It is what it is.
So the mother and the father raising it is that what's best for the child's upbringing, having the mother and the
Yes,
father
it
in the
ain't got
home.
nothing to do with. It ain't got nothing to do with anything but logic and statistics and how things work.
It's
Yes,
that home. I'm talking about purely the best thing for the child. There's nothing
yes.
better for a child than its parents in the
I
house.
don't give. I don't care. Yes, that's how it goes.
And what I'm
That
saying, the civil rights movement
goes.
eliminated the
That goes back to
entrepreneurial spirit. The civil rights movement eliminated the entrepreneurial spirit of the black man. The black man
black
stopped
man.
being innovative. He stopped creating
No, I didn't. Whatever you
because
say.
he's grieving.
It goes.
I don't have enough. Nigga, you had everything you needed. And you
Yeah,
and you gave it up in the
temptation has
for
never
this.
been. Has never existed. What you're saying is just like a catch-all, but it's not bringing into context human nature, what people ultimately do, who people's families are, who people's. Because okay, bet. What your grandfather? So where your grandfather from? What was he doing? How did he get here?
My grandfather he was born in Ohio, but his people from his parents from Kentucky.
So what? So what did he do? Like
He was married. He was a paratrooper. He was married. He got married to my grandmother. They was married, right? Now this was around the time where they started breaking the homes up though, because he eventually left out the crib when my dad was like 4 or 5.
okay, my grandfather. No, this is my grandfather came from South Carolina. He was in the army, brick. He's a brick mason. Came up here. He was a well-known man. Had multiple properties. Did many things in terms of just business. The house that I'm living in as a family, shoot, we got this. We still in here because of him. And that's all I'm saying is,
It
in the
ain't
day,
like that no more.
we know it's not like that no more. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. It's like, bruh, it's everybody got their own upbringing. Everybody is different. You cannot sit here and put your idea of the world onto others because at the end of the day, my grandfather ain't did what your grandfather did. It is the bottom line. My other
It was
grandfather,
kind of similar.
you just told me the nigga from Ohio. I ain't hear nothing about no. I ain't hear nothing about no business and none of that.
Location don't mean location is cool. Location different, but culture is pretty much the same. The cultures were the same.
Yes,
You married the woman that you had a baby with. Women weren't aborting their children. Niggas
he,
wasn't gay.
I could have sworn you just said he walked out on your mom and all that.
No, he walked. No, he eventually left my grandmother
Right.
when my dad was like 4 or 5 years old. But
That's
guess
that
what? My people were
grandfather.
married back then. People weren't raising their children by
Your
themselves.
grandfather did that because that's what he saw and knew at the bottom line. My grandfather didn't do that is because that ain't what he saw and knew. That's the bottom line.
My
I'm just
grandfather had his dad, and he had both of his parents, and was raised by both of his parents in a
and that
traditional nuclear home.
and that's what I'm trying to explain to you. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, he did what he saw and knew. You think that he was you think he was raised just in that don't negate
Guess
his
who exempt?
environment. That
Guess
don't
who exempt though?
who
The Christians. You
What's
couldn't get the Christians to do it. You couldn't get the Christians to fall in line because they already had something they were standing on. You wasn't gonna break them with that whole civil rights movement crap because they was already standing on something. You see, the civil rights movement was for the people of the lost. Those were the lost souls, the people that didn't have nothing,
the
the people
civil
that
rights
wasn't
movement?
standing on anything.
The church was the backbone. And what you just said, MLK,
No,
man.
the church was not the backbone of the civil rights movement. You crazy? Yeah, they put a priest in your face, they put a reverend in your face. But Martin Luther King was a fraud
All
to the
right, okay.
T. You cannot be a Christian and claim you get your freedom from something
It's
else.
not
You don't
about a
get your freedom
fraud.
with money. You don't get your freedom with anything. You get
It's
your
not
freedom
about
through
a
God.
fraud to the T. It's once again, it goes back into the dissemination of information. That's
This
just
the
how.
same. Martin Luther King said the Bible wasn't real. How about that?
Okay.
He wrote a story in Stanford, 1949, that said that the Bible shouldn't be taken literal because it goes against all biological science. It goes against all anything possible. Mary couldn't have been a
Okay.
virgin.
You think, and that's the whole thing, bro. Like you don't even understand that for somebody like that to even come to that conclusion, what does that mean? You're not even put
This is
yourself in
what it.
their shoes. They don't have
I'm gonna tell
they don't
you
have internet. They didn't have none of that. Meaning that the information that he was going over led him to that conclusion.
was a false doctrine.
What do you mean false doctrine?
Because that's not the story. That's not what the Bible says. The Bible doesn't say this isn't real. This is not meant to be taken literal. This is just stories. No, it's a historical book of stuff that actually happened. There was
Bro,
a woman that was that birthed of that had a virgin birth. That's a real thing. And when you take it and say that it isn't real, your lifestyle reflects it. And what happens now? Look at the fruits of the people that don't claim that say
it's not.
that
It's
claim
not.
that
It's
false
not. It's not.
doctrine.
That's not real. It's not. It's not how that we know that's not possible.
Look
We
at us
know.
now. We all into science now. Now, if it isn't biologically possible, it's not real. Come on, man. Look at us now. That's how black people
That's
think
how.
now.
That's what I'm trying to
King
say.
is our
This is
king.
why the religion don't work because you can't use the book to prove the book. You gotta use goddamn circular logic. You gotta goddamn put things. Nigga, this has to match up with this. You can't goddamn use the book to prove the
Well,
book.
what book proved that God real? Since you say God is real, you told me the book that
This is why
proved.
we trying to explain to people. This is why we trying to. This is why. This is where I gauge where people at when it comes to religion and understanding of God. People, when you want to look out to see that God is real, you use because science shows you that there are you have anomalies, right? Nigga, the fact that they goddamn the plants produce oxygen for us, and then we produce carbon dioxide for them. The fact that they then use the sunlight, nigga. The fact that water puts out fire. You look out into creation. That's how you know that God is real, nigga. You don't
Now,
look
what?
out. You don't use miracles. You look out and understand that, nigga. This is not no goddamn. It's not haphazard.
Now you see
Nope.
how you answered that. Now, why do I need a book to prove that Jesus was real and those were historical events? I don't. Just like how you can say how you can prove that God isn't real, that God is real without physical information, without seeing something. I believe you. But it doesn't I don't need physical proof of it to believe that it's real. Just like you don't need physical proof that believe that Wi-Fi is real. You believe in air, you believe in Wi-Fi. You think
Because
Wi-Fi
it
is
does what
real.
it's supposed to. Exactly. You
You never
know,
seen it before.
it's not about you never seen it before. It's about understanding that nigga that this Wi-Fi shit ain't just happen haphazardly. The fact that we can just do this, it ain't just goddamn pop
Where the
up.
proof? Where the proof Wi-Fi real?
What do you mean? Whatever, nigga, the means of us communicating. That's the proof.
Right. Right. You can't see it though.
It don't matter about seeing it.
Right.
So what are we talking about?
I'm saying you don't need to see it to believe it.
Yeah, you don't. You need actual evidence. That's why I said you look out into creation. You don't need to. You need to see
Is the
results.
prophecies of the Bible not enough? Is not that's not enough evidence? The prophecies of the Bible, that's not enough evidence.
No, you don't use miracles to prove
Not
these.
miracles, prophecies. I'm talking
That's what a
about
miracle is.
events being
Somebody
predicted.
proving, somebody saying something, Somebody saying this beforehand, that's a goddamn, that's a miracle. But if I got them choose these numbers and I say these numbers definitively 5 minutes before they come out, nigga, that's a miracle. That's a prophecy and a miracle. That's a miracle, nigga. What are you talking about?
No, it ain't a miracle. It's a great prediction.
For you to nigga, prophecy is a miracle. For you to prove, for you to prophesy something and then it happens, that's a miracle.
That mean every nigga that put in a damn parlay is doing miracles. They ain't.
That's not a miracle. Well, in theory, I mean, bro, and that's what I'm saying. We look at the definition of miracle. Yes, miracles are anomalies, nigga. That's what that exactly.
But
Yes.
outside of the miracles, right? If I'm talking about the exact prophecies, if you got a book calling out things that are happening, how is that possible? How is that real? How does the Bible call out that there will be people that call themselves Jews, but they're not actually Jews, running everything? That's real. That's really real. That's really happening right now in real life.
Didn't they say Jesus was a Jew though?
Yeah, he was.
So you just said they wasn't Jews.
No, I said these so-called Jews. They call themselves Jews. They call themselves the chosen people, but they aren't the chosen. There is no chosen people. That's not a thing. But they wield all the power. They wield all the influence. They even got Trump kissing their feet. Come on, man.
So if it's no such thing as black people, how is there a such thing as a Jew?
Because race is a social construct. Race is all perspective. It's all somebody. It's all in somebody's head. All humans are the same. Every human is the same. We're all the same.
We're not all the
Nobody's
same.
different. You only look like the habitat of where you come from.
We're not
You're
killing.
only this.
We're not.
You only
We're
look
not
like the habitat of where you come
So a
from.
Jew is a religion?
A Jew is a. I'm a Jew because I have faith in Jesus. That's what makes you a Jew, according to the Bible.
Mm,
So Jesus was a Jew because he had faith in himself?
No, Jesus was a Jew because Jesus was born a Jewish man. They got a Jewish blood, Middle Easterns, sons of Abraham, sons of Jacob. So you talking about people that's you before the new covenant. But when it was an old covenant, if you were a son of Jacob, if you were a descendant of Abraham, then you were a Jew. But now in the new covenant, since Jesus died, you don't need to be in the bloodline to be a Jew anymore. You need to have faith in God. You need to have faith in Christ. That's what makes you a Jew now. That's it. It's that simple. But you have people that claim that they're Jews, claim that they're God's chosen people, but they have a book that they subscribe to that does the total opposite of God. They call Jesus mother a whore. They say Jesus is in hell burning right now. They say he wasn't the Messiah. They reject the Messiah and they will power, influence, and have everybody kissing their feet. And they call themselves Jews. That's actually a real thing, and they actually exist right now today. Everybody knows it. Everybody's scared of them too, and you're not allowed to talk about them. That's how you know they wield all the power. These same people were kicked out of 109 countries because of their behaviors. Adolf Hitler was hip to him, and he was the last one that said, "Huh, I gotta deport these people out of here because they're
so you
going
love,
against God."
you love Kanye then, huh? You fuck with some Kanye, huh?
I was tripping when I seen Kanye in the KKK stuff with the Nazi symbol. I was tripping. I'm like, dude, tweaking. But guess what? Now, what I know about Kanye West, he always beat me to the punch. When he put the MAGA hat on, I'm like, this dude tripping. Then I end up putting it on, and then he was like, I'm a Christian. I'm gonna make a gospel album, and I ain't cursing no more. I'm like, what is dude on? And then look at me, I got a cross on. I'm a Christian now. And then I see the Nazi thing. I'm like, nah, I ain't going that far. Shit, that boy on point. Cause guess why? The Nazi is just a national socialist that's just stopping the devils from spreading throughout the world and destroying the earth, which is what they do. and I ain't afraid to say it.
All right, cool.
You feel me?
I feel I mean, whatever you're saying. I mean, I get you. I get you. So, but yeah, we've been on here for a minute. So yeah, I'm gonna let you.
Man, look, man, I gotta tap out. Look, it's midnight.
Right,
House of
Yeah,
let's
War.
do
just
it.
Hey,
one
Let's
topic.
yeah, hey, that was it. That was great, chunk. You know what I'm saying? We ain't had no news today. Ain't nothing go on. And hey, we did this, but look, this
We
one,
did
man.
have
This
some type
this
of news, but you want to talk about God, Jesus Christ,
go. We had to get
hallelujah.
on that. I mean, but it
we
was a
we
good
had to
bill.
get
Was
in
a
there.
good, good conversation. Shit.
Yeah, that was good. That
Yo
was
had to
good.
be on
Yeah,
some
we
goddamn.
That was a great war.
we ain't gotta be in no bullshit all the time. We gonna get to the bullshit though too. We gonna get into the bullshit
What
like the
bullshit?
gorillas. So
Oh
before
no, that's funny
before
though.
niggas hop off, the gorillas though. Who y'all got?
The who? Nigga, the gorilla. What? Nigga,
You got the
Duh,
gorilla?
duh.
we so because bro. Most niggas. So we when we hear this shit, nobody's talking about no guns, no nothing. We all just talking about, I guess, physically fighting a gorilla.
Yeah.
No, it's not happening. 100 niggas not doing that.
Unless it was some big ass gorilla size niggas, maybe.
Man,
Exactly. And still, but like niggas still take pain. That's a I don't think
man, niggas
anybody
gotta go down. Look, a couple niggas gonna have to, you know what I'm saying?
right.
It's gonna be a casualty.
Right. That's the whole like just like what niggas say. Once you see the first couple niggas get they goddamn arms ripped off, why are you then gonna continue to say, all right, I'm gonna go fight this nigga?
We gotta rush him. Man, there ain't no way the nigga he got two arms like we do, nigga, and it's 200 arms versus two.
I mean, he lifting some
Gorillas
shit,
is
nigga.
huge, man.
Big as fuck. He
Niggas,
lifting some shit. So at the end of the day,
and they
nigga,
strong as fuck. They can walk on their hands.
Look, the first 15 niggas just gonna have to sacrifice themselves, and we gonna,
right.
hey,
That's what niggas aren't getting. Why would anybody? What niggas is doing this?
the
No,
brave
if
niggas,
you fighting
Marines,
that, you
Anybody
gotta
niggas that's
fight.
able to actually withstand a gorilla is gonna do that.
we gotta help each other.
Do it gotta be a fight, or like can it be like a?
No, we boxing, nigga. It's these, nigga. We throwing these.
You can't set them up like
I
Right.
if
got,
they
I
Niggas,
got,
get
niggas
I
caught.
talking
got the
about
100 men.
physical combat with a gorilla. Niggas are dying. It is what it is. I don't
Hold
know
on,
why y'all think.
100 men versus one gorilla.
Yeah,
Oh man,
it's on the flow with that gorilla, man. The
Good
gorilla
luck.
yeah, they
tough,
whooping his ass.
Good
Hell
luck.
no.
nigga. A hundred me,
Good luck.
100 of me.
So
I
what
might
about a
lose like
bear?
100
What
of
about a
you.
bear?
a,
Legs broke, nigga. What?
nah, nigga gonna die. A couple niggas might perish, but everybody
Couple
ain't
niggas
gonna.
might. This is y'all nigga. You just
That nigga gonna get tired, bruh.
yeah, you gonna get tired. But the question
A
then
hundred.
becomes, how is so like so? How nigga gonna sit there and just beat the gorilla to get the going on the gorilla like that? How does
BJ
that
said
work?
Hold his
blows, nigga,
arms.
blows and
Oh,
blows and
exactly. Somebody gonna
blows,
hold his arm. It's okay. So this gonna be like 20 niggas on arm, 20 niggas on leg, 20 niggas on. I mean, I get it.
and stomp that nigga
How is that
out.
physically possible? Like
Yeah, that's
niggas
yeah,
not
that's
like
tough.
100 niggas can't 20 nigga 80 niggas can't like grab me what? So yeah, 80 niggas like grab me at once. Like
Yeah, that's serious, man. Yeah, give me the gorillas. But man, it's midnight, man. I'm about to crash out,
right, I'm
man.
about to get into this backwood shit.
Man, appreciate you for checking in, man. Look, we keeping this going. Look, it's a show every night. The plan is 1,000 shows and 1,000 nights. You feel me? So we
All right.
got we got this like a 4-year plan, and I'm not missing. This episode 9 in 9 days. We going for 1,000. We got the group chat right there. Y'all want to drop some topics? Just check in, and we live in effect. BJ supposed to be at this nigga at the movie. Talking about he had to go. He going to see Sinners.
He had to go see Sinners.
He got a date.
He boo loving.
He boo loving because he trying to be a man of his word ass nigga.
Them niggas all boo loving, like for real.
Yeah, I done left my wife in the bed
I went,
upstairs.
I mean, never mind.
Man, look, y'all niggas lock in. Appreciate y'all. and we're gonna check in. All right, gang.
Yeah.
All right, peace, y'all.
All right,
Mhm.
bye.